Nothing in this podcast is intended as investment advice, and the people in this podcast may hold positions in the stocks they talk about. Do not buy any investment based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.
Hello and welcome to the Midweek Takeaway. Today we're joined by Colin Bird, Executive Chairman of African Pioneer. Welcome back, Colin.
Thank you to be invited. Nice to see you all.
Yeah, we saw the exciting news that the company has been granted a full 15-year mining license for the Ongombo copper gold project in Namibia. The project already boasts a JORC 2012 indicated resource of 5.7 million tonnes at 1.1% copper equivalent and a substantial 23 million tonnes of inferred resource supporting both open pit and underground potential. Positive ore sorting test work using X-ray and laser tech supports a low capex starter open pit operation with processing planned off-site to reduce costs. Tell us more, Colin, about the next steps for Ongombo, please.
Well, Ongombo is in the northern end of the matchless copper belt. And in recent podcasts, we've talked about open Gorup. And it's strange enough, even though it's in the same system, it's a different animal altogether. Got a lot going for it. It's got a small open cast, which would probably last a couple of years, but it's a flatly dipping ore body. It's narrower, and yet on the eastern side, it actually thickens up to 3, 4, 5 meters. And once you get something quite flatly dipping, which is thick, it's the miner's dream. You can mechanize these things, and so I'm not at all concerned that it lacks open cast potential because it's very mechanizable and it's a nice ore body with a very gradual dip. And I don't think people realize it, but there's close on 300,000 tons of contained copper. That's a serious body at the JORC level. That's 300,000 tons of copper, and that is completely open-ended. There's a body next to it, which we have researched in the last few months, which we feel was ignored for all of the wrong reasons. And so there's additional potential. They call the central chute and the east chute. Again, our research and investigation show us that there's a gap, that the gap might well mineralize, and there are ores which show it to be mineralized. So the gap between the east chute and the central chute might, in actual fact, it might be one continuous, and probably will be one continuous ore body. So the open Gorup is a great subject. I would say it was lagging behind the project to the south by probably a year, not much more. It's had flotation trials, and you've got 91% recovery for a 28% concentrate. They're very good recoveries, and the concentrate is very, very clean. We don't allude to gold as we do again to the south, because there is gold, but it would be wrong to quantify it because there's an element of guesswork involved, because the density of boreholes, not the density of boreholes, but the number of boreholes which were tested for gold and obviously silver were not enough to actually determine the byproduct contribution that gold and silver might make. But again, like its neighbour down at Open Gorup, there is definitely precious metal values which will lift the average grade up quite nicely. Thank you very much. So we're excited about that, as you'd expect us to be. It's open-ended and it's got the potential for many more tons of contained copper. So we'll do a little bit more drilling there to test the gap, and obviously get some gold values from the various cores that we've got, so we can assign a byproduct value to the gold.
So it's hard to say what a contained copper total is then at Ongombo at the minute, then, because of
yes,
that.
no, it's not. It's at least. Well, it's the actual figure is 293. It's at least 293,000 tons of copper. But if you want to go to copper equivalent, you can't add the gold in because it's not densely enough drilled.
Yeah, you need to know what that gold is.
Yeah,
and you haven't got any idea what that gold is. It's going to be like 0.3 gram, 0.5 gram, 0.1 gram.
The FCA doesn't pay us for guesswork, and and the last thing I want to be is misleading, and the AIM team wouldn't appreciate it either, and the Nomad would be extremely cross at me. So
what's LIFO, Colin, without the Nomad slightly cross?
It's unlikely to exceed 0.6. It's probably be that sort of 0.4, 0.6, because that's what the holes that have gone through gold. That's the sort of grade.
So that's what we've got at the minute.
Yeah, so we're looking at about half a gram contribution, I think.
But we don't know that that's applicable across the thing. So what is the connection, if there is any at all, between Gombo and Hope and Gorup? Obviously, they're in the same country.
They're in the same country and on the same geological system.
Okay, one is in Windhoek and the other one is
Windless Belt. On Gombo, I mean, this is it's a tarred road into Windhoek, say some 20, 25 kilometres on the way from the airport and a few kilometres into the bush. So in terms of infrastructure, it's extremely well placed compared to its sister down in the south. And of course, we would have to truck the concentrate. There's an excellent railway system. We'd truck the concentrate to Walvis Bay.
So there is a connection via train to.
Oh yes, there's an
Hope and Gorup.
Absolutely excellent railway.
Okay, very good.
And you know what? Yeah, I mean, we've already obviously sought quotes and those sort of things. The railway quotes are pretty competitive. You look around the world, so good tracks, good locos, and so we've got a path to Walvis Bay for our route to Walvis Bay for the concentrate that we produce. Similar, we're aiming at pretty much maybe a little bit more than the southern end in terms of annual production of copper, and scalable, of course.
And, I know you can't really comment, but I mean, it's got a market cap now of 2 packets of beans, 2 packets of beans and a packet of crisps, really. 1.7 million for what it is.
Pretty cheap.
Inflation's not that bad.
It's yes. I mean, when you think about it, it's bordering on the ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, I've said it to other people, and I'm not asking you to verify it or not, but I believe that license is probably worth at least $15 to $20 million, even if you just sold the license and got rid of it. So this would give you, 8 times the amount of money that suddenly African Pioneer is supposedly worth, which is just absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah, I mean,
plus you've got your licenses in Zambia, and you've got the joint ventures with First Quantum.
That's the First Quantum. You mean the Zambia licenses? Yeah,
Zambia license. It's also got a license in Botswana, no?
Yes, it's got a Kalahari license as well.
It's got 8 licenses, I think, in Botswana. So the package that you've got in African Pioneer, to accept that it's worth £1.7 million is just absolutely bizarre in the market that we've been in, I'm afraid.
Well, if you like copper,
that's me, not you saying that.
Yeah, well, if you like copper, it's difficult not to like African Pioneer, isn't it?
Yeah. What's your thoughts, Charles?
My thoughts are, I mean, you said a packet of crisps and a pint of beer. Yeah, I mean, £1.7 million market cap versus just simply being able to sell the license, you get significantly more than that. From a fundamental value, it makes a lot of sense. I guess basically it's the same thing, isn't it? We've got the license now, finance it and build a thing. It's as simple as that. I don't think we need to, go into any more detail than that. That's the idea, right, Colin?
That's the idea. It's got a mining license, and you don't have to build the Rolls-Royce plants. You can actually build, these Chinese plants nowadays become quite cheap. Water isn't an issue in that part of in the northern end there. So a Chinese plant would not cost an absolute fortune. The people there against guaranteed supply will assist to finance. And as I say, it's not as though it's finite. At 300,000 tons, it's by no means finite. It can grow with the project at the side. It can grow within its own. It's got its own legs by drilling in between the central and east shoots and proving that the ore body is continuous. So it's got a lot going for it. Again, today compared to yesterday, with a license and everything to its name, it's a different kettle of fish altogether.
Indeed. Just to put that into perspective, everybody, if you want a TR1 in this stock, it'll cost you £51,000. So, get cracking. But not financial advice, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because it makes life less stressful, doesn't it, Charles, with the TR1? Absolutely.
Staying at 2.9% is the dream, in my opinion. But
I'd have to argue. I think it might cost you a little bit more than 51,000 by the
second you start buying.
Yeah. But there you go.
Good. Well, I think on that note, we'll obviously, Colin, we thank you very much for coming on and giving us updates, and we look forward to progressing with Ongombo. And obviously, just say, Colin Bird, Executive Chairman of African Pioneer, thanks very much for appearing back on the podcast.
Thank you very much indeed. Thanks a lot. Thanks for your time.
This podcast was brought to you by Roast PR Limited. If you would like to appear on a future episode of The Sunday Roast, please email admin@thesundayroast.net.